Yo Nemi gang, welcome back to another video. So we just had the Tekken 8 dev stream yesterday, which talked about a lot of season 2 changes coming for Tekken 8. I covered most of them in my previous video, make sure you check that out. So in this video I thought I would focus more on the upcoming character balance changes. Now according to Bamco, they said there are about 1,500 character changes, which is just insane. Of course, they didn't show us that much. They said they'll break that down in the next Tekken Talk coming next month in March. We did get a few sneak peeks during the dev stream, as well as the trailer that dropped back in December at the TWT final. So I thought I'll talk about all the sneak peeks we've seen so far in terms of character balance changes and try to anticipate, speculate, and just discuss some of these changes and how they'll affect the particular character and the meta in general. So let's just get into it. Okay, let's first talk about Azucena. We've seen quite a few changes for this character already, with the first one being a new full crouch low. We saw this in the trailer, of course, and this low looks good. So it looks like full crouch down forward 4, and it takes her into liberation stance, which is pretty scary because she does have that 50-50 in this stance. This will all depend on how plus this low is on hit. Does it guarantee a 50-50 mix-up, or is it just relatively plus? Are we able to interrupt? Also depends on the risk on block. It kind of reminds me of Leroy's down back 3, which takes him into hermit stance. Although Leroy on block can actually parry a punish, this won't be the same with Azucena because liberation stance can only parry lows and highs, right? So I don't think it would be that risky though. I don't think it would be as risky as Leroy's down back 3, but of course we can only speculate. But overall this looks like a very good low. Coming with the changes that gives us access to full crouch after a hit engager, that means she has a solid full crouch game now. And keep in mind, she also has full crouch down forward 3 as well. Like Azucena has solid lows in general, and this just like improves her overall arsenal. It's such a good looking low. Furthermore, her up back 2 seems to have been nerfed. So as of right now, up back 2 does launch on counter hit. And during the dev stream, we did see that this guarantees, I think it's her new 4-3, which is her new hit engager. They have nerfed power crush hit engager, so of course Azucena has fallen victim to these nerfs with her forward 1+2 being a high hit engager. So since that has gone, they had to give her a new power crush. They had to give her a new hit engager, and they gave her, I think it's 4-3. So now up back 2 on counter hit only gives her a guaranteed follow-up, which seems to be 4-3, maybe 13 frame follow-up, maybe 14 frame follow-up, we don't know. But of course, overall this is a nerf. However, I didn't really see Azucena players use up back 2 all that much, so maybe it's a very insignificant nerf, but overall still a nerf nonetheless. And lastly, her running 3-2 takes her into liberation stance as well. Now, how strong this is going to be heavily depends on the frames. But what makes this scary for me is, like I said, liberation stance can parry highs and lows. So now if Azucena does running 3-2, then goes into LB stance, you can't challenge with a jab and you can't challenge with a low, or most commonly a dick jab, which is very scary. Like you're left with like a down forward 1, right? And she does have a check with her 1 jab from LB stance, which is 13 frames fast. She has LB4 as well, 15 frame check, and all these take her back in liberation stance. So like bro, you are getting mixed. But again, this mostly depends on how plus this is on block. I don't think it will give her a guaranteed mix up. I think it will be something similar to what they did with Victor's running 2. Of course, before he couldn't go into stance, but now he can. So I think it will be something very similar to that. But overall, Azucena seems to have gotten some really strong changes. I think she'll be a very good character in season 2, especially with that running 3 buff and that full crouch down forward 4 buff, bro. Like solid character. I predict she'll be strong. This is my prediction. But Azucena overall, massive W. Next up is Zafina, and Zafina now seems to have an install, similarly to Claudio's Starburst and Brian's Snake Eyes. So during the dev stream Zafina gameplay, you could see this by looking at the icon right next to her health bar, to her hit gauge. This is similar to Claudio's Starburst or Brian's Snake Eyes. You have a little symbol at the end, so even Heihachi's Warrior's Instinct, Eddy's Majinga, and so on and so forth. So this is dimmed out, but then it glows when the buff is active. So in Claudio's case, when he doesn't have Starburst, it's dimmed out. When he gets his Starburst, when his hands are glowing, the icon next to the hit gauge also glows. So you can see this when Zafina goes into hit, the icon glows up as well. It works the same way for Claudio right now. If you go into hit, the icon will glow up. So I think this means Zafina will now have access to her Power Crush Azazel arms in neutral. So I think she'll work just like Claudio and Brian. So Claudio and Brian have some moves without hit that can give them access to both Snake Eyes and Starburst, but Zafina did not have that. Zafina only has access to her Power Crush arms whilst in hit. So now I think she'll have access to them in neutral as well. Now, as to which moves will give her these buffs, this is unknown. We can only speculate. But I'm guessing whenever you land a hit with one of Azazel's arms, or sorry, Zafina's regular Azazel arm, I think it will give her the buff to now have access to the Power Crush version. If she uses the Power Crush version, it goes away and you have to get it again. Basically, just like Claudio and Brian, basically. So I like this change. I know a lot of people don't seem to be a fan of installs. Like there's a power difference. Like why doesn't every character get some kind of install? Some characters are more powerful with installs. You know, I know there's this whole disparity, and I do agree. But for Zafina, I think she kind of needed it. Zafina isn't really in a good place in terms of popularity, strength as well. So I think this is a good change. I don't think to make her ridiculous in any sense. The problem is Power Crushers right now are strong. Most of the Power Crushers can still be made safe if they absorb hits. Like how many times do you see Horang players spam down forward 3? Like so many characters spam Power Crush because they do have some level of safety to them. So this doesn't make Zafina any special with this change. I think it would make her very strong if they nerfed Power Crushes in general to be the same way they were back in Tekken 7. But of right now, I think it's a good quality of life change for Zafina, having access to an install whilst in neutral. I think it's a good change, and I'm keeping my eye on her because if this character is buffed next season in terms of frame data, I think she'll be strong, bro. And she's one of my favorite female characters. If she's good, I might pick her up. So looking forward to trying out Zafina in season 2. King is getting a new combo ender, which is a massive dub. A lot of King players have been asking for a new war combo ender, especially Liu Majin. But what I don't get is they gave him a war combo off of his standing 3. So it looks like standing 3 to 2. And standing 3 is one of the ugliest animations I've ever seen in this game. This move looks ugly as shit and is slow as fuck, and it's been like this since like Tekken 3, and they've decided to give a war combo off of this move. Like bro, like why? Such an ugly ass move, and it hits so high. Like in the trailer you can see it, he lands it from a very high war splat, and most King players have been asking for like a low starter war combo ender, like a low hitting, basically something similar to Dragunov's down 3 1 2. I think that's his war combo ender, his new one he got in Tekken 8, something similar to that. Because I think the running grab at the wall was good enough for like a high war splat combo. So I think this makes it a bit redundant unless it does a little bit more damage. He needed something with a low hit, like maybe down forward, his down forward 4, right? The down forward 4 strings, down forward 4 3 4, or down forward 4 3 down 4. So maybe if they gave him like down forward 4 2 2, like that would have been way better in my opinion. But overall, this is something King players have been asking for, so it's good to see that they've given him a war combo ender, and it looks sick. And it looks so sick, and it might be super high damaging, bro. Like scary hours for King, man, scary hours. So massive W for King. Dragunov, QCF4 does not hit grounded anymore. I repeat, QCF4 does not hit grounded anymore. Let's go Namco. This is a massive nerf, something a lot of people have been asking for, and it's nice seeing Namco come through, man. Massive fucking dub. Like this changes a lot. Dragunov is a menace, especially at the wall. He has some insane Oki with QCF4, but now lying on the ground is actually a solid strat against drag. Like remember back in the day when full crouch down forward 1-4 could hit grounded as well? Like that was some toxic shit, man. QCF4 was so strong, and I think it'll be still good if the plus frames are still the same. If he gets you a duel with QCF4, he has a guaranteed mix-up between full crouch, down forward 1-4 and while standing 3. So if that stays the same, Drag will still be in a very good place in my opinion. But this nerf was massively needed. Before Drag main start complaining in the comments, bro, there was no need for this move. It's just too strong. Hwoarang has back 3 that hits the ground area. Back 3 is a launch punishable move on block. Dragunov has a stamp, so like use a stamp for ground hitting. There was no need to have this BO and O move. It was too fucking strong. This kills his Oki, bro. Like at the war, man, the freaking back 4 to spike into Oki, like that is basically dead. He has to go for like back 4 into QCF3. Then QCF3 is launch punishable on block. If you crouch guard at the wall, it's a launch for us. Like this is a massive nerf. Thank you. Drag mains, I am sorry, but this was much needed. And the character will still be good. Of course, we don't know what else has been changed about Drag, but like if this is the only massive nerf, he'll still be a very strong character. But like massive dub. Next up is Jin's full crouch down forward 4, and it doesn't seem to knock down anymore. It instead takes him into Zen. This might also mean it isn't launch punishable anymore, which overall might be a buff, because as of right now it is launch punishable, but the trade-off is that it knocks down for a guaranteed follow-up. But for me, less risky is always better in my opinion. Now I don't see this change as like anything threatening. Like the move still seems the same in terms of speed. Maybe it's faster, so if it's still reactable, then it won't be that much of a problem. But if this is faster, that means we have to worry about down 2, we have to worry about down back 4, down 4, and now full crouch down forward 4. That gives him a full crouch mix up as well, with the hell sweep as well. Like, oh my days, please don't make this move faster, leave it as it is. But overall seems like a buff. Now, many people were saying his down 2 seems a bit slower from the dev stream. Now, I can't tell, bro. Like, we have to wait for the patch notes for this. Maybe it's slower by a few frames, but like, from what I've seen, it looks the same. You know, they also say it has a bit less range. Like, I can't tell. But we'll have to wait for the patch notes for this one. But I do feel like that down 2 is going to get hit if Namco, as we've seen so far with like Drag QCF4. So here's to hoping, bro. Here's to hoping. Shaheen's forward 3 has been nerfed. It does not launch on counter hit anymore. However, it can now take you into sneak, and on counter hit it now instead guarantees you a sneak down forward 1-4. Now of course Shaheen is one of the victims of the power crash hit engagers, back 3+4 rip, so they had to give him a new hit engager, so they gave him his sneak down forward 1-4 instead. So this is overall not a huge nerf. Forward 3 has always been a good move since Tekken 7, but like you don't see it used as much honestly by Shaheen mains. If there are any Shaheen mains in the comment section, talk to your boy and let me know how much you think this affects you. I think this character will still be very strong, like unless he has some other nerfs he's getting that we haven't seen, but like this overall doesn't seem like that hard of a nerf. So yeah, I think Shaheen mains will still be chilling. Eddy is also another victim of the power crash hit engager, so it looks like they've given him a new move as well, a new hit engager. It also looks like a punish, maybe 13-14 frame punish, which is crazy because Eddy's punishment game right now is kinda OD, so like damn bro, like what more do you wanna give this man? But overall, yeah, it just seems like a good quality of life, nothing too crazy for Eddy. They seem to have changed the animation to Feng's hit smash. I don't see this as anything else. Like what else could it be? A second hit smash? Maybe a hit smash from stance. They did talk about how you can now use hit burst and hit smash from stance with most characters. So maybe they're showcasing this, but it just looks like overall an update to his hit smash animation. Law has been given a new nunchaku move from his down forward 1, so looks like down forward 1-2 or maybe down forward 1+2. It also does the little floaty thing, which means you have access to the longer combos. Yay, as if Law didn't have long combos already. what the nunchuck move does on normal hit or counter hit really determine how good this move is. Of course, you have characters like Dragunov down forward 1-4, with the 4 being a launcher on what I think it's normal hit, right? So if the nunchaku launches on counter hit or normal hit, that would be a huge buff for Law, bro, because now it would be very difficult to just challenge his down forward 1, which is going to be annoying because this character is cancer at point blank range. Massive buff. But as of now, just access to long combos is just a nice quality of life change. Most characters do have this, right? So I guess a good change for Law overall. The same applies to Po. He also gets a new Spinaruni for the longer combos. So Deep Dive 1, I think this is homing as well, which would be pretty massive, bro. His Deep Dive doesn't really have that many moves, so this is a good addition. Looks like a very strong homing move. Again, we have to see what this does on normal hit, on block, and on counter hit. But knowing that this is Po, this might be a counter hit launcher, bro. A counter hit homing from Deep Dive. Like, just thinking about this, man, gives me fucking goosebumps, man. Like, man. But overall, again, access to longer combos is always a massive dub. Longer war carries. Yo. Asuka, another victim of the power crush hit engager, so she needs something new. So her forward 2-1 seems to be her new hit engager. This is neither here nor there. Honestly, you can just duck this, but you know, overall I think it's actually a nerf, because like, when are you going to use forward 2-1 in neutral, right? Like, I just don't see it. So I don't know, like, make it make sense. Does it jail now? Or other than that, I don't see the need to use forward 2-1 if you can just duck it. But we'll have to see these patch notes, otherwise this is looking like a nerf. And lastly, we have my boy Steve, and it seems he's been given some kind of new string. Like, if I would make a guess, I think it's a new punish, maybe a new hit mechanic system, like a new hit gimmick thing. It kind of reminds me of his Peekaboo back 1-1-2-1, but it's very difficult to tell what this is, man. It's very difficult. Like, Steve has so many strings already, so I don't understand why they would give him another string to go on for. Like, unless it's a very strong punish. Like, if this is a new punisher, oh my days, like, this would be so nice. Maybe it's a hit mechanic, something to use as a mix-up for his grabs, his hit grabs. I don't know, it's very difficult to tell, but I'm hoping it's a punish and something good. All we can do, like I said, is just speculate. Okay, enemy gang, that's all we know so far in terms of character balance changes coming for every character in Season 2. Again, these guys say they have a total number of 1,500 patch notes. That's some huge changes, and from what we've seen so far, like, we can tell that there will be an overall change to the meta. Like, with the Dragunov QCF4 nerf, oh my goodness, like, I can't wait to see what they do to Nina, what they do to Yoshi, Jin, Law, Shaheen. You know the drill, all the top tiers need to get hit. Like, it's exciting stuff, you know. I know overall the system changes aren't really good, apart from the power crush hit engager nerf. Like, that's a massive W, but like with hit engagers still staying the same, the hit smash, the hit burst, overall hit system mechanic, not much has changed about that. I know it's a bit of a downer, but like, I can't help myself but get a little excited for the balance changes. I can't wait to see what they do to my character. So how do you guys feel about your character, if any of them are here, and what are you expecting to see going forward? Talk to your boy. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you made this far, as usual, don't forget to that like button and subscribe if you're new. Feel free to check out my content. If it's worth subscribing, you're always welcome. The Nemi Gang. And the frame data be ever in your favor. GG, my boys.